In a magical forest, there lived a cute but bad-tempered little bear. The bear's friends often got hurt by its words. God decided to give the bear a chance for self-learning by granting it a special superpower. Did the bear learn and grow? Or did it become worse? Now, let's step into this magical world and embark on a wonderful journey to explore the power of words, the wish story of Bruno the bear. A tale about responsibility and growth.
Are you ready? Let's get started.
In a vast and peaceful forest, there lived a little bear named Bruno. Bruno's fur shimmered with a deep brown luster, and his eyes were full of curiosity and vitality. His home was a warm and comfortable cave nestled under a giant old oak tree. In this little world, Bruno lived with his family, especially his beloved grandmother. Despite his cute appearance, Bruno had a noticeable flaw. He had a very bad temper. The slightest things could make him angry, and once he got angry, he would say hurtful things. Bruno's parents often reminded him to control his emotions, but it seemed like Bruno always struggled to do so. This forest was a vibrant and joyful place, home to various animals. Bruno had many friends, including a clever rabbit, a lively squirrel, and a leisurely turtle. They often played together, went on adventures, and enjoyed the happy moments in the forest. However, even during these joyful times, Bruno's bad temper would suddenly erupt. Once, while they were playing by the river, a little squirrel accidentally kicked Bruno's favorite ball made of leaves. Bruno immediately got angry and said some very mean things to the squirrel. This made the little squirrel very sad, and the other friends were shocked and disappointed by Bruno's behavior. Bruno's grandmother was a wise and loving old bear who always tried to teach Bruno to be kind and humble. She told him that every creature deserved respect and care, and that words were a powerful force that could be used to hurt or heal. Unfortunately, it seemed difficult for Bruno to fully embrace these lessons. As time went by, Bruno's temper did not improve and seemed to be getting worse. His parents and grandmother began to worry that this character flaw might negatively affect Bruno's future. What they didn't know was that soon Bruno's life would change dramatically due to an unexpected event. Spring sunshine bathed the forest, bringing everything to vibrant life. Bruno and his friends were playing by a clear stream. Colorful butterflies danced in the air, and birds sang from the treetops. It seemed like a perfect day, but no one expected what was about to happen. Their game was hide and seek. Bruno hid behind a big tree, trying to find the perfect hiding spot. As he dashed to another spot, he accidentally bumped into a small nest with several unhatched bird eggs. The nest belonged to his good friend, a little bird named Doodle. Doodle was very angry and worried when he found his nest disturbed. Bruno felt a bit sorry, but his pride and temper prevented him from admitting his mistake. Instead, he angrily said to Doodle, "I wish this nest had never been here," and walked away. Shortly after Bruno left, a breeze blew, and the small nest and its eggs mysteriously vanished. Doodle and the other animals were shocked. They searched everywhere but found no trace. When Bruno heard about this, he was surprised and confused. He began to wonder if this had anything to do with his words. At first, he thought it was a coincidence, but a corner of his mind started to harbor uncertainty. That night, Bruno lay in his cave, unable to sleep. He thought about the day's events, pondering his words and their possible effects. He remembered his grandmother's words. Words have power. They can create, or they can destroy. He started to worry whether his words really had some magical power. The next day, Bruno decided to do an experiment. He found a leaf and said to it, "I wish you would turn into a butterfly." To his amazement, the leaf slowly transformed and became a beautiful butterfly, flying towards the sky. Bruno realized that he indeed possessed a magical ability. His words could come true. At first, this excited and amazed him, and he began to imagine what he could do with this power. But he didn't realize that this ability was more complex and dangerous than he thought. Bruno now had an astonishing secret. His words could come true. This newfound ability excited yet confused him. He decided to test this power more, but there was also unease in his heart. One morning, Bruno wished for his cave to be bigger and more comfortable. Standing in front of his cave, he said, "I wish my home to be bigger and more comfortable." As soon as he spoke, the cave began to transform magically, becoming more spacious and cozy, filled with soft moss and the fragrance of flowers. This filled Bruno with immense surprise and joy. Bruno's friends soon noticed the change. They were astonished at the transformation of the cave and asked Bruno how it happened. Bruno was evasive, avoiding revealing his secret. But as time passed, it became harder to hide his ability. Bruno began to feel proud of his power and started to misuse it. He made whimsical wishes in the forest, causing flowers to bloom at will and fruits to grow gigantic. But he did not realize that each of his wishes was slowly altering the forest's natural balance. One day, while playing in a meadow with his friends, Bruno carelessly spoke hurtful words again. He said to a little rabbit, "I wish you would be silent forever." As the words were spoken, the little rabbit suddenly became unable to make a sound. Bruno and the other animals were stunned. This incident deeply shocked Bruno. He began to realize that his ability was not just a blessing, but also a responsibility. He felt incredibly guilty, remorseful for his recklessness and harm. He tried to reverse the effect on the little rabbit in the same way, but found he couldn't undo what had already happened. That night, Bruno lay in bed, reflecting on his actions. He realized how right his grandmother's teachings were. Words indeed have power, but if used irresponsibly, they can bring disaster. He resolved to use his words more cautiously. He realized that his actions had negatively impacted his friends and the balance of the forest. He started to avoid using his ability, but he couldn't forget the feeling of control it gave him. On a gloomy afternoon, Bruno had an argument with his grandmother. Worried about Bruno's recent behavioral changes, she tried to guide him back to the right path. But Bruno, troubled and pressured, lost his patience. In a burst of anger, he blurted out, "I wish you would disappear and leave me alone." As soon as he spoke, his grandmother vanished before his eyes. At that moment, Bruno felt unprecedented panic and regret. He realized his angry words had taken away his dearest one. He searched everywhere for his grandmother, hoping it was just a nightmare, but she was really gone. Bruno's despair quickly spread throughout the forest. His emotions affected his power, causing the surrounding environment to become chaotic and desolate. Trees withered, flowers wilted, and streams stopped flowing. Bruno's friends watched in horror, not understanding what was happening. In this chaos, Bruno began to feel profound loneliness and despair. He lost the will to control his power. His words no longer brought beauty, only destruction and sorrow. He started to avoid his friends, afraid of hurting them again. Bruno aimlessly wandered the forest, reflecting on his actions. He began to realize that even with great power, if not used wisely, it only brings disaster. He longed for the harmonious days of the past and his grandmother's gentle teachings. On this heavy night, Bruno lay on the cold ground, looking up at the starry sky. His heart was filled with remorse and longing, wishing to make amends, but unsure where to start. Life in the forest seemed to lose its usual colors and vitality. Even the sky became overcast. Bruno's friends felt confused and worried, but they didn't know how to help him. Bruno began to avoid all animals, not wanting to hurt anyone else due to his lack of control. He wandered aimlessly through the forest, each step a reminder of his mistakes. He regretted the wishes he had made, but didn't know how to reverse the situation. As time passed, Bruno's sorrow and despair gradually turned into determination. He began searching for a way to retract the words he had once spoken. Remembering his grandmother's teachings, he thought of a possible solution: sincere repentance and wishing. Bruno decided to return to the place where he had lost his grandmother. He stood there, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. He started speaking from his heart, his tone full of remorse and longing. "I truly regret everything I've said. I wish to undo my mistakes and hope everything can return to how it was. Bruno's words echoed in the forest, as if an invisible force was gathering. Slowly, the forest began to change. Withered trees turned green again, wilted flowers bloomed anew, and the stream started flowing cheerfully. Just then, a warm light descended from the sky, shining upon Bruno. When the light faded, he was astonished to find his grandmother standing in front of him, smiling with love and forgiveness. Bruno ran to embrace her, tears streaming down his face. They hugged for a long time, saying nothing, just feeling the warmth and reunion of the moment. At that moment, Bruno profoundly understood the power and responsibility of words. He realized that even with great power, without wisdom and love to guide it, that power only brings pain and disaster. The trees gently swayed their leaves, as if singing, and the streams babbled as if narrating the story. Bruno's friends, one after the other, came to his cave, sharing joy and celebrating this beautiful moment. Bruno learned a valuable lesson. Words are not only tools for communication, but also a gift with immense power. His experience taught him that this power should be used carefully, with love and responsibility. He realized that true power comes not from what one can do, but from choosing to do the right thing. His grandmother once again became a mentor and friend in Bruno's life. Her wisdom and love helped him further understand the importance of his actions and words. Bruno began to care for and respect his friends more and learned to think before speaking. As the seasons changed, Bruno and his friends continued their adventures in the forest. Their story became a legend in the forest, reminding all creatures of the power of words to create and change the world. In the end, as Bruno sat quietly under a tree, watching the sunset's afterglow, his heart was filled with gratitude. He was thankful for the learning opportunity God had given him, and for the love and support from his grandmother and friends. He knew that from then on, he would use his words to spread love and positive energy to create a more beautiful and harmonious world. Hope this story can bring you inspiration and fun. The story ends here. If you like it, please subscribe and like. Give us more encouragement for our dedicated creation. See you next time.